We're in Warsaw, hunting for hogs. Flying wild hogs. I can't see flying wild hog. I found them.
Rest in peace, brother.
So how do you modernize Shadow Warrior? How do you make it a game for 2022?
When we started working with Shadow Warrior 3, we started from the very basics. Like we switched game engines, and we needed to, on one hand, recreate a lot of features that we already had, and on the other hand, we got a powerful tool to experiment with new ideas. And we started really simple. We started with creative movement, combat, some simple AIs, and on top of that, we added new features that we thought may click with the game. So grappling hooks, new movement elements like wall running and finishes. And we were amazed how good it went with all of that elements that we already had. It felt like it was supposed to be there from the very beginning.
So Shadow Warrior 3's got a very strong look. How did you approach creating the look of the characters and the weapons and the environments?
We wanted to come from gameplay driven features, but actually deeply immersive environment, but also put the craziness of the characters and a little show off of the weapons.
Weapons are a big deal in any FPS, but in Shadow Warrior they have to be something special, right?
Yeah, they are definitely like big spectacular because, let's be honest, as a FPS gamer, there's no better feeling than when you get this crazy designed weapon and you just feel the power boiling inside it and want to test it out immediately. So we hogs know the stuff. Yeah.
So you're the person who was in charge of where Lo Wang's story went next, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Where did it go next?
Lo Wang as a character, approachable for new players, but also like honoring the knowledge and the lore of the previous two games. So Lo Wang right now is at the bottom of his life, I guess. A huge dragon is wreaking havoc on the earth, so it's basically apocalypse. So this is our starting point, and it only gets wilder and more crazy.
Do you guys like knock-knock jokes? Because this one's gonna knock you down.
This is Andre. He is a marketing hog.
Hi, nice to meet you.
He's going to show us around these quite delicious offices of Flying Wild Hog.
So here we got our Shadow Warrior 3 inspired posters.
Who did this?
This is done by Boneface. Super talented guy. Here you got Slinky Jakku.
Yeah, my favorite
one of the
enemy.
protagonists. This is a statue we give to our members that have spent more than 10 years working in the studio.
So if you can survive here for 10 years, you get this lethal weapon.
This is our wall of photos.
Decades of hogs. And this boy, is he a good boy?
Legend has it he just showed up one day, burst into our kitchen and doesn't want to leave. This is the vinyl from Shadow Warrior 2. Stan Bush worked on it.
Immortalized on vinyl. A nest of hogs, that's what a nest of hogs looks like.
Unstoppable, baby, yeah!
So you're working on pushing the gameplay in different ways in number 3. What's at the heart of the gameplay experience?
Basically, it's all about the move, about feeling of speed and and control. I feel like we have one of the fastest shooters. It's kind of how fluid it can be. You wall run, then you grapple. You grapple to a demon, grab a weapon out of it. You throw it, then you're just dashing towards the next enemy, and it's just go on and on. So it's all about that, all the tools that we're giving to the player.
We had this idea of having a massive dragon, which means making a level out of a dragon that is moving. It brings the scale of the FPS to a new level.
So hold on, the level is on the dragon?
Yeah, it gives us a lot of opportunities to make it interesting.
Yeah, that is an interesting level design challenge. Everybody's noticed that Lo Wang has changed. Not the guy he used to be. So what was the thought process behind the changes that happened?
It's still Lo Wang, actually. It was always like that in our minds. We just exposed the psychology, so we just wanted to make him represent the agility, making him more fashionable, sporty, obviously handsome guy.
Hey, it's bigger than I remember.
That's what she said.
Tell me a little bit about what it was like working with Mike Moe and the other voice actors.
I think we're standing on the shoulders of the giants. John Galt, the first actor for Lo Wang, and then Jason, they did an amazing job, and absolutely we can't forget about that, right? But the first time we saw Mike in the studio, the way he behaved, the way he moved, the way he talked, I instantly thought that's Lo Wang. And working with him was I would say a real breeze. He's a gamer, that let's start with that, and we could do all those references we have to pop culture, to games, to movies. He was very on board with that.
What can you tell us about Zilla and Lo Wang getting together? I mean, they used to be arch enemies and now they seem to be hanging out.
I mean, Apocalypse eventually brings people together. That's the starting point of the whole story. We wanted to kind of reinvigorate Lo Wang, not necessarily redoing him or recontextualizing him or actually remaking him in a new light, but actually showing a different color of Lo Wang through the relationships, like through the relationship with Zilla. That is very surprising, but it works, and it's very, very entertaining. It is fueled by constant conflict, and it's so funny to listen to those guys bicker all the time.
What I'm saying is that if it has two legs, technically it's a wyvern, not a dragon. I might be getting facts from comic books, but no one said knowledge can't be fun. You're just too old to get it.
The older the tree, the deeper the roots.
The older the asshole, the deeper the roots.
I've heard some of the music in the trailers and stuff, which sounds really cool. Who did the music?
The composer behind the music, his name's Maciej Kulesza. We wanted the music to have a custom mixtape vibe to it. Personally, I call it Wang Wave.
Wang Wave.
He used some sort of old musical recordings as a samples, because we also wanted to give it this feeling of music based around samples to give you this vintage vibe.
I love weird sounds in games. Tell me about some of the things you've recorded.
My personal favorite is this tiny bottle of Śliwowica, which is traditional Polish plum brandy. It was tiny glass bottle with a cork. So I opened it and I quickly realized, man, this is the sound for our grenade launcher. I took the bottle, I made something like 80 kilometers on the mountaintops with it in my backpack. So
on the top of the mountain, you got your microphone, you pulled the cork, and that is the grenade launcher in the game.
Not exactly.
Oh, don't spoil, that was a perfect story.
Yeah, this was a nice story, but this is not it. Something was missing. What worked the best was putting some honey on the cork, and after that, the sound was just perfect.
You see, this is the attention to detail that you're getting in Shadow Warrior 3. This is the actual bottle.
Yeah, this is it. Grenade launcher bottle.
Grenade launcher.
Yeah.
Let's look for him. Where is he?
Should be here somewhere.
No.
No, not here.
Not yet. There he is. Our friend Toro.
Magnificent, isn't he?
It's been a while since we've seen you. You've not aged well. But Toro, where's your double-edged bladey thingy? It's just you and me, pig boy. What was the impact of COVID on making this game?
Actually, we were lucky enough that the beginning of the project happened before pandemic. So we were able, during the initial phases of the project, still work within the studio. Thanks to that, we were able to establish with our vertical slice our goals for the whole project. Of course, then pandemic happened, and no one really knew how it will influence production. We had to, of course, adapt.
Basically, COVID made it necessary for us to maintain this creativity spark in a new way. Suddenly, we were all staying at home, like with nobody really to talk to from the project.
This is the QA team, hard at work. Here's the art team. If you can see the art team working in here.
It's pretty intense in here.
Yeah. This is the programmers.
As you can tell, everyone's bustling away at work.
Actually, we decided to organize various meetings when each member of the team could show their recent work and show the creative process behind it and inspire others.
So you basically created an artistic show and tell.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just a team-driven project, so the team spirit was the most important thing.
And yeah, we had our ups and downs, but I think that thanks to what we did and our extremely motivated team, we were able to overcome most of it, and we prepared the best Shadow Warrior yet.
I like playing FPS games. I'm out in the market. Why the hell should I play Shadow Warrior 3?
Players should ask themselves one question. If you want an action-packed comedy movie with awesome gameplay, the best yet, that is not taking itself too seriously, then yeah, go buy Shadow Warrior 3. You will love it.
Whoa! The Wang still got it!